Welcome to another edition of the Coach Alexander Show. I'm Kim Assad, Mustang mom, and your local real estate broker with Compass Real Estate. Enjoy the show. Go Mustangs!
Hello, Mustang Nation. Matt Carnes, Grapevine Booster here for Week 4 of the Coach Mike Alexander Show with head coach of your Grapevine Mustangs with Mike Alexander. And as always, got lots to talk about.
Yeah.
But we're coming from a week off, and you got to tell a great story about going back to the team you used to coach. So tell us what head coaches do on their week off.
Well, typically, I'm usually watching football somewhere. Unfortunately, for the last couple of years, open date's fallen on my wife Mandy's birthday. So a year ago, I took her up to Stillwater to watch Alan Bowman play, and so I kind of owed her one. So this year, I planned this really great getaway. We went and got a VRBO lake house out in East Texas, but it was a little bit, I had kind of an ulterior motive, and I went back and watched Mount Vernon, the team I used to coach before Grapevine, play their rival game. And that's, if anybody doesn't know, that's where Art Briles is now coaching. And so I got to watch that spectacle.
The media circus has arrived.
And it was a great night. Mount Vernon won big, it was different than when I was there last. You know, there were a lot of TV cameras and a lot of security, but the Mount Vernon Tigers played great, and I was able to see some of the kids that I had developed relationships with for a lot of years coaching out there, and it was a good time. It was very restful.
Well, good. Even though you did go watch football, you got some rest, so that's good. So then we get done with the week off, and you come right back to homecoming week.
Yes, sir.
And of course, no shortage of activities there.
Oh man, around here, homecoming's a big deal. A lot of distractions, a lot of activities taking place all week long. And then, to add to that, we're playing a team that's going to run flex bone triple option, which requires a lot of mental discipline and which is always a challenge when you're dealing with high school kids anyway. And then you put on top of that, we had grade reports come out last week, so we had a lot of guys that were, cramming at the last minute, a lot of teachers giving tests at the end of the week, so they can get a test grade in. And it was just a lot last week. And I know everybody after the game ended on Friday just kind of took a big, deep breath just to kind of catch our breath and relax for a minute. Mm-hmm.
You could tell. Well, the week starts. Of course, you come back. It's homecoming week, and you and Coach Willis get to do your weekly Rotary deal. So it starts there on Wednesday, which is a real highlight for the Rotary Club to hear you guys talk about the Rotary Club. So tell us about.
Oh, it's always a treat to get to talk at Rotary. It's an opportunity to highlight our program and tell everybody that is not really connected with our program about all the great kids that we have and the neat things that our staff does within the team and our role that we play in the community. And it's always fun to go do that and an honor. And it worked out good this year because it was the same day as the parade, so I was able to invite everybody to come out to the parade that afternoon. And boy, what a parade it was! It was a lot of people and a lot of fanfare. And I think it was the right call that we made to let the freshmen and JV guys take part in that.
I don't think anybody's going to question you on that one.
I think that
was a great move.
Honestly, that was the first parade I've been to, and I've lived here 5 years because I've always felt obligated and felt like I needed to go watch our freshmen play.
Right.
So I've never been to the parade. I've always got the team to the float and then sent them off, and I've always come back to a game. So it was really special to see all of our team traveling with the varsity down Main Street and having a good time. It was fun.
Well, it was a great time, great turnout. So I definitely think the move to Wednesday night is a good move, and hopefully we can maintain that going forward. So then you move forward. You got the JV and the freshman games on Thursday night. Had a couple of games of success. Came up a little bit short. Tell us about the freshman JV.
Yeah, we'll start with the freshmen. We had to switch when we normally play the red and the blue because we have some bylaws built into our district minutes where if we're playing a Carrollton school, they know that they only have one freshman team, and so their freshman team will always play first. So our freshman red had to play the 5:30 game. and I had to go out and look for a game for our freshman blue since Creekview didn't have one. And the only game I could find was against Boswell's JV. And so Boswell's JV B team came over to play our freshman blue team, and that's at the 7 o'clock game. And I knew that our kids were going to fight hard. I knew that I really believe we could keep it to make it a competitive game. I didn't know our kids were going to dang near win the thing at the end, and so they took Boswell's JV blue to the wire and had a chance to win it at the end. Came up a little bit short, but at the end of the night, our freshman red dominated and won. Our freshman blue lost a hard-fought game to a JV team, so all signs are pointing up there for the freshmen. Our JVs traveled. Our JV blue went up to Denton and lost a heartbreaker, 16-14 at Denton Ryan, and had a chance to tie it at the end. We went for 2 and was called short, although we felt like it was a really close call. It could have gone either way. So really proud of the JV blue in their fight there, and then the JV red just dismantled Creekview and took the fight to them for the entire night.
Well, all in all, it was a good night for them. Then we move forward to the next day, and we wake up to the Breakfast of Champions with another real treat. Mm-hmm. Speaking of homecoming, we get Grapevine's own Richard Bartell back in the house.
Always a treat. Richard loves football, and he loves the life lessons that football can teach. And anytime we can get him in front of our kids to share his heart, it's a great thing. And so he didn't disappoint.
Not at all.
He brought a very inspirational message to our guys. And anytime you can have one of your own back in the field house, it's special.
Well, not only was he in the field house, he was actually telling stories at specific lockers. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And you talk about an impact that he had in his life just from those specific lockers. That was really fun to hear.
That was good. Special
place for him, and special morning for the players, the coaches, and all the dads and men that got to come. So then we move on. We've got the pregame intros with a whole bunch of alumni coming out. I don't think I've ever seen that many people on the field at one time at a Grapevine game.
I missed all that. I was back in the locker room, but I heard it was just incredible, and it was a special moment when we did run out of the tunnel, and I got to see all the Team 96 or the 96-98 state champions back in the house, and that was really neat. It
was a great night. So then game gets going, and it was a ground game battle. Mm-hmm. It was old school football. The clock moved fast. Mm-hmm. You get up 14-0, go into halftime 14-7. Second half was a little tougher. So tell us your thought of the game as it went through, and we'll get to look at some of these highlights.
Yeah, I feel like our team kept waiting for the big play, and I feel like we went into halftime feeling good offensively. We'd moved the football and just hadn't scored as many points as we wanted to. And our guys, I could feel an anxiousness about them that I think they're just used to seeing long touchdown passes, long touchdown runs. And we can become accustomed to that around here because we've had some really dynamic skill players offensively for the last 4 or 5 years. And the game just didn't go that route. And, credit to Creekview. I would say they've improved so much over the last year, mostly on defense, with their ability to just tackle well in space. These guys, they didn't miss many second, third level tackles. We had a lot of 7-yard runs, 7, 8, 9-yard runs. They would just tackle us, where a lot of those same plays that against Azle and even Cooper and Northwest, those same 7, 8, 9-yard runs are getting popped every now and then for 40-yard runs. Mm-hmm. But Creekview did a great job tackling, and that's how you eliminate big plays. You just don't miss tackles, and they did that for the most part, which kept the game really tight. And then offensively, they made us execute. We did at times, we didn't at other times, which allowed them to continue to get first downs. And you look up at the end of the game, and heck, we're tied 14-14, and here we're going to overtime.
Going to overtime at about almost an hour earlier to finish time than what a lot of the games are, just because of all that running. So that was kind of an old school memory of football there. Going to overtime, tell us about your thoughts going to overtime.
We're excited, the thing about it is we practice overtime. If not every week, we're going to practice overtime at least every week or two. Like on a Tuesday morning at the end of practice, we'll put the ball in the 25 and we'll say it's overtime, and I'll give the offense a scenario, I'll give the defense a scenario. Either it's the first possession, we're trying to kick a field goal at least to get points on the board, or we're down 7 and we're going to have to go score. And so we've been in those positions in practice. So for our guys, they didn't have to ask, "Oh, how does this work?" They knew exactly what the scenario was. I don't know if you noticed, I didn't even bring the team up. A lot of times the head coach will have to bring the team and tell them, "Here's how this is going to go." We know what that looks like. We've been down that road before. So we were excited to get to do it. Last time we went into overtime, it didn't end up well against Birdville last year. So this time we were able to do it and finish successfully. All ended well.
Well, and the defense did look like they were prepared and knew what to do.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they were ready for the stop. Don't know if they were trying to just stop them for the field goal, but on that 4th down play, it looked like they were dialed in and ready.
We were ready, yeah. We made a few adjustments right there at the end of the game that carried over into the overtime, and luckily when we went out to shake hands and do the coin toss, that allowed Coach Antle to make a couple key adjustments that we felt like would be helpful if we had to play into overtime, which we did.
Well, ends well. You stop them, you go in and score, wind up winning the game 20-14. So let's take a look at some of these highlights.
Defensively, we're going to watch a little bit of our defense first, and I'm just going to let it kind of roll through here. We'll watch the wide copy. At the beginning of the game, everything started out well. We forced the pitch. They pitched on the ground. This is what you want when you're playing a flex-mode team. You definitely want to make them execute all 3 phases: the dive, take the quarterback away, make them pitch it. Unfortunately, later on in the game, we didn't do it as successfully on executing all of our responsibilities. We've got to become a little bit more disciplined. But we did have some good key stops early on. There's a 3rd down stop. We had a couple big plays, in every quarter that kept them from scoring, once they'd driven down. But playing a flexbone offense, it's a different animal. I mean, we gotta have the 2 interior guys getting ready to take the dive. If they can't, you got your inside linebacker scraping to take the first threat he sees. It ends up being the dive here. It's not easy. It's a lot more complicated than what a lot of people would think. And they get coached too, and they have answers for stuff. Like anytime you see them run the reverse like this, you know that you're doing your job front side, and so they've had to come and come up with another plan here. But we did force them into some situations where they didn't want to do some things or they had to do some things that they didn't want to do. But in all, to give up 14 points, there's Nick Chevalier getting a big play in the course of the game. That was a 2nd and medium that forced them into a 3rd and long. But I want to fast forward to the overtime. This is the whole series, like the last set of plays in overtime. We stop them right there. Now we got 2nd down. Everybody starts to do their job a little bit better, just closing in, taking care of their responsibility. And then the big 3rd down, this was a play I was super proud of Sam Assad, playing in his first game this year, coming back off of injury. We put on a little bit of a corner trap here where we put him on the pitch, which we haven't done much throughout the course of the game. And he comes off the edge and makes a fantastic tackle for loss that forces him into a field goal situation in overtime. And then the field goal block, Jack Turner's been close all night long, coming off the field side there, puts his hands on the ball, blocks the field goal. Now the offense's turn. And, offensively, I'll say this, Matt, we didn't score a lot of points, but preparing for the show and doing our highlights for this, we had a ton of 7-yard, 8-yard, 9-yard runs that you don't have in the course of every game. So we ran the ball effectively. We just never hit the big play. This is the first quarter, first third down conversion we get. Just run the out route to Ben Gare, converting right there. And Ben played a fantastic game.
Well, and you talk about the comfort you had with the run. You went for it on fourth down several times, and if I remember correctly, you got them all.
Yeah,
except for the last one.
The last one on the pass play we didn't. We felt like we were going to run the ball well, which we did. We just never popped any big ones. This is stuff Ben Gare was doing all night long out on the perimeter, blocking their forced corner, and he did. He's a selfless guy. He did a great job all night long doing whatever was asked of him. And Jacob Edwards finishing off the run. We had some snap issues. We changed centers this week. We moved Abraham Munoz inside. He'll continue to get better, but it did slow us down on a few plays, especially our play action stuff. But this is Jake Cunningham on the reverse. Get a chance to see Jake's speed a little bit right here, and we plan on doing some more stuff with Jake down the field. He's just getting more comfortable since we've moved him over from defense to offense, and we just got to get him the ball a little bit more. New play for us this week. Pulling 2 guys instead of 1. Last week we just pulled 1. This week we got 2 pullers coming in, and we'll continue to get better at this little counter play. Timing of it wasn't great, but we'll definitely continue to work on that and get better. This is what we thought we were going to be able to do most of the night right here. A lot of the play action stuff, getting the ball up and down to Jacob Edwards and our slots. Like I said, our snaps hurt us a little bit because it's hard when the snap's high or low for the quarterback to get his eyes on the proper read and pull it down and throw. But we were proud to get Jacob involved early on. New little wrinkle we put in for the quarterback here, because we do have a mobile quarterback. So basically what we just have a little inside run scheme with some pass option off of it at an empty formation, which can put the defense into a bind. So we're pulling the backside guard, and Austin's just going to read one of the defensive second level players and decide to throw it or run it. I think we'll get some mileage out of that as the season goes and continue to get better. And then here's Elijah Steele working off of Ben Gare's superb blocking again and getting yards after the catch. Once again, we hit this counter play, and this is just a picture of these guys just doing a good job of tackling. A lot of these plays, in the past, this is where Caleb's breaking tackles and scoring, but they did a good job tackling him all night. Let's fast forward to overtime. This is second down and 5 in overtime. This is a play we ran a lot last week against Northwest, had success with. Caleb gets us all the way inside the 9. I was hoping we'd score. Both of our kickers were out last week and weren't available. And so I really didn't want to put one of our sophomores in the bind to have to go out and kick the game winner. We had a Solomon McKenzie, a defensive back for us. He did some kicking early in the game, but I wanted us to go in and score a touchdown to just leave no doubt. I hate for a young sophomore defensive back to have to carry the game on his shoulders right here and have to kick the field goal. So we decided, talked to Coach Smith. I said, let's just try and punch it on in. Fortunately, Austin, with the help of the whole offensive line and his blocking backs, able to find the end zone right here to seal the game. And that was it.
Well, it was an exciting finish. You're 3-1 overall. You're 1-0 in district. Got a big one coming up. We'll talk about Birdville and your second district game in a minute. But let's talk about the DNA traits. Let's talk about who got the Grapevine DNA traits.
So our tough award this week went to Chris Ruiz. Chris battled an injury throughout the game that didn't faze him a whole lot, but he was hurting and played really well and played tough. And so we gave Chris the tough award. Jacob Edwards just doing all the things that he needs to do to help our football team win. he does a lot that nobody sees, catching punts, holding on PATs, catching passes, blocking. So Jacob Edwards was our discipline award winner. Our fight went to Nick Chevalier. He's undersized D lineman, just fighting his tail off every play, just pouring his heart out there. So we're proud of him for that. And then family went to Ben Gare for his blocking on the perimeter all night long. Then attitude, Jack Turner's our defensive leader, captain. He's the guy out on the field no matter if it's good, if it's bad. He's getting the guys' attitude right and their mindset right. And so we definitely want to reward Jack with that. And then lastly, compete. Sam Assad coming off an injury and being his first game back, to be able to step up and make, maybe the biggest tackle of the game on third down in overtime to force a field goal attempt. Was huge for him, but it just shows his competitive spirit and how he's battled to get back after his injury. So those are our guys. We're super proud of them. They're a joy to coach.
Well, it's fun to watch them, and I had the pleasure of coaching Nick Chevalier Little League Baseball, so it's fun to watch him come up and get to that point. So congratulations to all those guys. So moving ahead, Birdville.
I told the guys this morning, Birdville's a very good team, very similar team as last year's team because most of them are back. It's going to be a lot of the same stuff that we were preparing for, that we were preparing for 2 times last year. The biggest thing I want our guys to know is we want you to prepare like there's no tomorrow. Prepare like it's your last game of the season. Because I mentioned this in our parent letter, that's the one area where I feel like our team needs to really grow, and that's in our mental preparation for a Friday night football game. We still, we have so many of these guys, it's their first rodeo with it, and they're 1-year varsity starters, and they need to learn what it looks like to prepare all week long for a varsity game. Well, with all that said, I also had to remind them, regardless of victory or defeat this Friday night, we still have 5 district ball games left. So this game isn't going to be the one that determines whether we get in the playoffs or not. But it is an opportunity for us to learn how to prepare like champions. So I'm excited. I'm excited to get this week started.
Well, and of course, you got to think some of them remember in the back of their mind, back to the Frisco Star.
There's no doubt.
So
they want this one bad, and I do too, and our coaching staff does, and our parents do. Everybody does. We just got to be careful not to overstate it because, like I said, at the end of the day, we still have 5 district games to play after this one's over with.
Well, we'll hope you win this one and then those 5
Oh, yeah,
district
me
games.
too.
But that'll happen Friday night at the Fine Arts Stadium, Facility Complex, whatever you want to call it, over in North Richland Hills. A great stadium. Make sure you're there. In the meantime, we got Thursday night action with the freshmen and the JV teams. And then Friday morning, men, don't forget Breakfast of Champions. If you haven't been there, you've got to get there. It's great. Men have been coming, keep coming. So don't forget that. For everybody that's been a part of this one, we want to say thanks so much. And we will see you next week.
Thanks for watching the Coach Alexander Show. For all your real estate needs, you can visit me at compass.com. Go Mustangs!